Nakshatra padas. So each pada has an Amsha name that we will talk about, and we will also summarize them. What do they exactly mean? Okay. So for all the 12 rasis, first the Amsha names are covered, and each Amsha falls in a Rashi. And these Rashis are, once again, I've mapped all these Rashis, all the 12 Rashis in the Navamsha, and I have described what they would mean. By and large, this is what we will cover. And in the next class onwards, we will talk about Vimshotri Dasha, starting the next class. We will do a small rule every week, a 15-20 minute rule, and then followed by we will talk about as many examples as we can do through the class. All right, so let's talk about the Amsha names. So each Amsha, I mean the Navamsha, Amsha as in, if you say anything is Amsha is, the primarily it is called as Navamsha. So each Navamsha has a name. So we have 27 nakshatras, and 27 nakshatras when multiplied by 4 padas, we get 108. So 108 names exist for the padas. So the first star is Ashwini. The pada of the first star, Ashwini, first pada, is called as the Taskara Navamsha. Don't be carried away by the names. Don't conclude with the name as if Tashkara is a bad Navamsha, Bhoga is a good Navamsha, etc. They don't apply like that. Okay, each one Navamsha may have a bad name. Just to read, while we read the usual Sanskrit translation may give you a bad thing, but it can still provide good results as well. Okay, so first Navamsha is called as the Taskara Navamsha. The Ashwini's first pada falls in Aries. It's called as Taskara. The second pada falls in Bhoga. It is falling in Taurus Navamsha. The third Navamsha is called as Vilakshana Navamsha. This falls in Gemini. The fourth pada of the Ashwini Nakshatra falls in Cancer. This is called as Dharma. I will give you the definitions of each of these and what they will mean at the end of completion of all these 108. The Bharani's first pada is called as Nripa Amsha or the Nripa Navamsha or Nripamsha, which falls in Leo. And Bharani, the second pada of Bharani, falls in Napunsaka Navamsha or Napunsaka Amsha, that falls in Virgo. And the third pada is called as the Abhaya Navamsha, Abhaya Amsha, that falls in Libra. The fourth Navamsha falls in Papa. Okay, as I keep saying, please don't go by the literal meanings of what Papa or what literal meaning of Abhaya can be. They can be very misleading. Okay, so Papa falls in Scorpio do not necessarily mean that it gives you only a bad result. Okay, please don't look at things like that. Okay, Kritika first pada falls in Sagittarius. This is called as Dhana Navamsha. The second pada falls in Papa, that is falling in Capricorn Navamsha. The third pada falls in Ugra, that falls in Aquarius Navamsha. The fourth pada is called as Utkrishta Navamsha, that falls in Pisces Navamsha. Okay, the first pada of the Rohini Nakshatra falls in Sena Navamsha. It falls in Aries in the D9 chart Navamsha. All these padas that I am talking about are in the Navamsha. Do not be confused that Rohini always falls in, okay, in the Taurus. Okay, but I mean in the D1 chart it falls in Taurus, but in the Navamsha it falls in different padas. Each pada has a meaning. This is what I'm trying to explain now. Okay, the second pada of the Rohini is called as Bhritya Amsha, which falls in Taurus. The third pada of Rohini is called as Vidya Amsha, which falls in Gemini. The fourth pada is called as Ati Amsha, which falls in Cancer. And then the first pada of Mrigashira is called as Raja Amsha, which falls in the Leo. The second pada of Mrigashira is called as Chanda. Chanda, da as in Damru. Okay, Chanda Navamsha. Don't think this is Chanda. Okay, this is Chanda Navamsha. Da as in Damru. This falls in Virgo. And we have Abhaya Navamsha. This falls in Libra, the third pada of Mrigashira. The fourth pada of the Mrigashira falls in Nicha Navamsha. It is in the Scorpio. And the first pada of Ardra falls in Kripa Amsha. This falls in Sagittarius. Ardra's second pada is called as Taskara. This falls in Capricorn. Ardra's third pada falls in Ugra. This falls in Aquarius. Okay. Ardra's fourth pada is called as Utkrishta. This falls in Pisces. Punarvasu. Punarvasu's first pada falls in Uttama Navamsha. This falls in Aries. Punarvasu's second pada falls in Bhoga Navamsha. This falls in Taurus. Saumya is the third Navamsha. This falls in Gemini. Dhana is the fourth Navamsha. This falls in Cancer. And Pushyami's first pada falls in Bhupa Navamsha. Bhupa Navamsha. This falls in Leo. Pushyami's second pada falls in Saumya Navamsha. This falls in Virgo. Pushyami's third pada falls in Shura Navamsha. This falls in Libra. Okay. Pushyami's fourth pada falls in Nicha Navamsha. This falls in Scorpio. Okay. As I keep saying, please don't go by these literal meaning of these words as per the Sanskrit or any of the Indian language. They are very misleading. Okay. Aslesha. Aslesha falls, the first pada falls in Utpanna Navamsha. This falls in Sagittarius. Aslesha's second pada falls in Papa Navamsha. This falls in Capricorn. And the third Navamsha falls in Krodha, which is in Aquarius. The fourth Navamsha falls in Ugra. This is in Pisces. Okay, because Aslesha is the final pada, although it falls in Pisces, this is Ugra. Okay, so usually how Parashara or any, for that matter, any Maharshi would divide these things, these Navamsha padas, is all the benefics are given good names. If the Lord of the Navamsha is a benefic, like the Jupiter, Venus, Moon, Mercury, Sun, okay, these planets are usually benefics, although Sun is the Krura that falls at the final thing. But Mars and Saturn are considered papis or the malefics. So you get to see the names, the bad names given for these amshas ruled either by the Mars or Saturn. Okay, Magha, the first pada of Magha falls in Sena Navamsha. This is in Aries. And you have Bhukta Navamsha, the second pada of Magha, that falls in Taurus. The third pada is called as Vichakshana Navamsha. This falls in Gemini. The fourth pada of Magha falls in Antya Navamsha. This falls in Cancer. Purva Phalguni, the first pada falls in Raja Navamsha. Okay, this is in the Leo. The second pada of the Purva Phalguni falls in Napunsaka Navamsha. This is in Virgo. And you have Abhaya Navamsha, the third pada of the Purva Phalguni. This falls in Libra. The fourth pada is in the Daridra Navamsha, which is the Scorpio. The fifth pada is in Utpanna Navamsha. This is in Sagittarius. The Uttara Phalguni first pada is Utpanna Navamsha. This falls in Sagittarius. The second pada of the Uttara Phalguni falls in Papa Navamsha, Capricorn. Third pada is the Ugra Navamsha. This is in Aquarius. Fourth pada is in Pisces. which is called as the Shubha Navamsha. Hasta first pada is the Krura Navamsha, that's in the Aries. And you have the Mukta Amsha, the second pada of the Hasta, that falls in Taurus. We have the Pandita Navamsha, we have this in Gemini. The fourth pada is in Dhana Navamsha, that's in Cancer. The first pada of the Chitra is in Raja Navamsha, that's in Leo. Napunsaka is the Virgo Navamsha, which is the second pada of Chitra. Abhaya is the third Navamsha of Chitra that falls in Libra. Dhana is the fourth Navamsha of Chitra that falls in Scorpio. Utpanna is the first Navamsha of Swati that lies in Sagittarius. Dhana is the second Navamsha of Swati that falls in Capricorn. Ugra is the Aquarius Navamsha, that's the third pada of Swati. Utkrishta is the name of the Navamsha of the fourth one, that's in Pisces for the Swati fourth pada. Vishakha is the Saukhya Navamsha that falls in Aries, the first pada of Vishakha. Bhoga is the second Navamsha that lies in Taurus, it's the second pada of the Vishakha. Saumya falls in Gemini, it's the third pada of Vishakha. Artha falls in Cancer, the fourth pada of Vishakha. Anuradha is Raja Navamsha that lies in Leo, it's the first pada of Anuradha. Napunsaka is the second pada of Anuradha that falls in Virgo. Abhaya is the third pada that falls in Libra. We have Anuradha's fourth pada, it's called as Nicha, that lies in Scorpio. Utpanna is the name of the first pada for Jyeshtha, this lies in Sagittarius Navamsha. Ugra is the name of the Jyeshtha second pada that lies in Capricorn in the Navamsha. Papa Navamsha is the Jyeshtha's third pada that lies in Aquarius. Pisces Subha Navamsha is Jyeshtha's fourth Navamsha. Okay. Mula, we have the first pada named as Taskara, and the second pada is called as Bhokta that lies in the Taurus Navamsha. Vichakshana falls in Gemini, that's in the third Navamsha. Dhana falls in Cancer, that's the fourth Navamsha of the Mula. Leo is the first pada of the Purvashada, that is the Utpanna Navamsha. Abhaya is the second pada of the Purvashada, it is in the second Navamsha, Virgo Navamsha. Bhagya is the third pada of the Purvashada, Libra Navamsha. Okay, and then you have Ugra, which is in the fourth Navamsha, that is the Purvashada's fourth Charana, Scorpio Navamsha. Utpanna falls in Sagittarius, Uttarashadha Nakshatra, the first pada. Papa is in the Capricorn, that is the Uttarashadha's second pada. Ugra is called as the Aquarius, that's in the Uttarashadha third pada. Shobhana is the Pisces Navamsha that lies in the Uttarashadha fourth pada. Mangala is the Aries Navamsha, that's the Shravana's first pada. Bhokta is Taurus, that's in the second Charana of the Shravana. Vichakshana is Gemini, that falls in the third pada of Shravana. Dhana is Cancer, that falls in the Shravana's fourth pada. Raja is the Leo, that's the Dhanishta, first pada. Saumya, Virgo, Dhanishta second pada. Abhaya is the Dhanishta's third pada that falls in the Libra Navamsha. Krura is the Dhanishta's fourth pada that's in the Scorpio Navamsha. And then Utpanna is the Navamsha of the Shatabisha of the first pada that falls in the Sagittarius. Okay. Capricorn Navamsha is the Papa Navamsha of the Satabhisha second Charana. Bhaya Navamsha, Aquarius, Satabhisha Nakshatra, third Charana. Saumya is the name of the pada. Saumya is the name of the Amsha of the fourth Charana of the Satabhisha that lies in Pisces. Sena is the Navamsha's name of the Purva Bhadrapada that falls in Aries, that's the first Charana. Bhoga falls in Taurus, that's the second Charana of Purva Bhadrapada. Vichakshana, the Gemini Navamsha, is in the Purva Bhadrapada, third Charana. Cancer is the Dhana Navamsha of the Purva Bhadrapada, the fourth quarter. And you have Leo, Tikshana, which is the Uttara Bhadrapada's first Charana. Saunya, Virgo, which is in the second pada of Uttara Bhadrapada. Abhaya is the Libra, which is in the Uttara Bhadrapada, third Charana. Ugra is the Uttara Bhadrapada, fourth Charana, that is in the Scorpio Navamsha. Revati is in Utpanna, the first Charana, lies in Sagittarius. Papa is the Capricorn, that is the Revati's second pada. Ugra, Revati's third Charana is Ugra, which lies in Aquarius. Shobhana is the Pisces, which is the Revati's final Charana. These are 108 padas that we have got the names just now. I repeat once again, do not go by the names of the Charanas. That will be very misleading. Okay. For instance, most likely you must have seen Papa and Ugra to be repeating most of the times for Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay. Parashara, or for that matter, every Maharshi, when they wrote these books, for ordinary people, birth dates and birth times are not noted down. Okay. You just go back about 100 years before, where our grandparents lived. If you have met your grandparents or people of that age, you please ask them when they were born. They will say, when I bought this particular land, I am born. They don't have a proper date and time. They do not know when exactly they are born most of the times. So ordinary people did not have birth dates and times. So unless you have a very accurate birth time, there is no point in knowing what your Lagna Pada is. We are talking about the Lagna Pada. In fact, most of these results will be applicable for Lagna and Lagna Pada. That means what Navamsha your Lagna is. So unless your time is to the nearest 5 minutes, it is very difficult for you to understand what pada it is. Why the names are called as Papa and Ugra is, the kings were the only people. The kings were only people, or the royal people were the only people who had fairly accurate birth dates and times. In such cases, what happens is, if there are more planets in these Navamshas of the Ugra, Papa, Scorpio, and all that, Raja will have, for example, the king will have the thirst for, more. The thirst for more will do what? It invites more wars. It invites a lot of bloodshed. While the war is happening, the most disadvantaged people are the ordinary citizens of the country, because any war, you have to fund the Sena or the army first, and the ordinary citizens may not have food if the war is happening, right? So in such cases, what happens is the rishis have severely said these are papa navamshas, and our kind of living, what Indian culture keeps saying is, be devoid of desires. Do not keep too much of desires, because desires are the stepping stones for being unhappy, right? So these are generally good. Papa and Ugra and Nicha, for that matter, Scorpio, Aquarius, Navamshas are very good, especially if you have to come out of issues. Okay, because you need that strength, courage, and effort, etc. Those things will come from there only. Saumya Navamshas cannot provide you that vigor. Saumya Navamshas cannot give you that whirl that needs. If you have to change situations seriously on the material note, then, because Saumya Grahas accept everything as karma, and they'll say, look, okay, something has gone wrong for me. I must have committed something wrong in the previous times. This is what Saumya Grahas will think. They will give away, or they will give up fighting spirit. Okay. If you have to fight back in the material world and get back what you want and what you lost, then these places are very essential. However, the only caution or the downside is, if there are so many of this, the person may commit a lot of sins in his life because of the thirst or the need for more money or more comforts, or whatever you feel like categorizing it into the sins. Okay, because we have learnt the names of these padas, what I have done is I have tabulated them into each Navamsha and what names have come all through. So if I went through all the names of these things, what I have done is, Aries has got Taskara, Sena, Uttama, Krura, Saukhya, and Mangala. These are the names that will describe the Aries Navamsha. In one way, if you know what these things meant in Rishi's mind, you will know what Mesha would mean in the Navamsha. These are for the Navamshas alone. They don't work for D1 charts. Please don't look these things as D1 things. For D1, what we have understood is, for Rashi chart, we are following nakshatras only. Let us do it like that. Let us keep it as a standard. Don't be confused with having to look at the Rashis. Okay, so let's do it based on nakshatras. Only when we come here, we get to see the Rashis. Okay, that is how we should predominantly look at. Although we will use the benefic Rashi or the malefic Rashi at one point in time, looking at if the planet is placed in both D1 and D9 in the malefic places, like it's in the Capricorn in the D1, and in the Aquarius it's in the D9. In Capricorn D1, Aquarius D9, or both D9s are D1, D9s are Aquarius. So these will give you a different kind of different kind of an opportunity to commit sins. Okay, so one has to be very, very careful. If people have planets like that, there will be a lot of comforts, but at the same time, when you have comforts, there are more possibilities of committing sins. Okay, that's why they are discouraged, nothing else. Okay, if somebody is thinking I have these planets, don't be worried. Okay, so you should be worried only for one thing: if you're committing a sin or not. You have to circumspect, you have to introspect and see if there are any sins being committed. Okay, so Aries, the Mesha, has the Taskara. So as I keep saying, Taskara literally translates from Sanskrit or any other language of Indian origin as thief, right? Somebody is stealing is called as Taskara. But power is one thing that is always stolen from people, because see, power can be lying only with 1%. Okay. Like if you are a chief minister of a state, unless the existing chief minister comes down, another chief minister cannot be initiated. Okay, correct? Similarly, there are many positions in the organizations as well. Like, you have a CEO or a COO, there will be only one person. Below the CEO, there will be many, vice presidents. There can be many GMs below them. There can be many managers below them. So if you are competing for a position which is which is alone, unique, only one, then this Navamsha will be more useful. Although by and large, people keep saying that this is a bad Navamsha, the Aries. Yes, I do not deny that having planets in Martian houses and Saturnine houses in the Navamsha is not a good sign. However, if you need a fighting spirit for the person, these Navamshas are extremely important. Or, in other words, if the person has to change his life, these Navamshas are very, very necessary. These Navamshas can help the person rise in the life by providing the required challenges so that he can come up in life. So these are challenging Navamshas. So, a lot of management people will keep saying challenges are opportunities. Do not look at them as problems, right? Same thing applies here. It is no different. Okay. So Taskara is the power. So one is running behind power, got the power, etc. So for you to attain power, what you have to do? For example, if you want to become the chief minister, what you have to do? The first thing is you have to contest an election, right? So you have to run for power, right? Same thing. First is running for power and then attaining power. Sena is doing something on a war footing basis, right? Sena would mean group of people or group of army, right? That's what a Sena means. So Sena is doing something on war footing. That means keep everything aside and prioritize on this task. That is what Sena would mean. Or collect as many people to do a task along with you. This is what Sena will mean. Uttama, Uttama falls from in Gemini in the D1. This is Punarvasu. Punarvasu first pada is called as the Uttama. Okay. Why we remember such kind of things is because all of the other words are on the negative side. Words like Uttama, Uttama, Saukhya, and little bit of Mangala, they will appear as if they are on the positive side. So Uttama means a perfectionist. Do not think a perfectionist is a very good thing. You look at perfectionists, if you have worked together with them, the biggest problem with them is trying to say yes for a little substandard thing. Smallest mistake as well, they will say, look, this is not right in these terms, and they will do it for themselves. Let's suppose there is a CEO or a manager kind of a person. If he is a perfectionist, he will not leave it, or he will not allow the simplest mistakes as well, and he will do it for himself, right? This is, don't go by the names. Anyway, Uttama means the best. So looking at the best in everything, okay, this sometimes is literally difficult. The person will always be unhappy because everything around, nothing in this world is perfect, correct? And if you are a perfectionist, you are at loss in one way, because you're not trying to accept or cope up with the situation that everything in this world is imperfect, right? Hope you're able to follow what I'm saying. So by and large, if we know the meanings of all this, what you will get from Aries Navamsha is what you will understand from here. Okay. These are extremely important for you when you're judging the dasha. Okay. So some people are, no, I have got sun in exaltation. It does not carry any value in the Navamsha. Also, exaltations, debilitations do not carry much of the value. Anyway, in the D1, they don't carry any value at all for me. The exaltation, debilitation here in the Navamsha as well, they are not everything. Don't be carried away with the planets. Look at what the Rashis are. Okay, what the agenda of the planet is in from the D1 And from after coming here, is it able to deliver the same thing? This is what he will keep saying. The Deepanshagiri will keep saying, look at what the agenda of the planet is in the D1. Is it doing the same thing in the D9? Right? We are looking at this thing in a very different perspective. We are using the names of the Navamshas and trying to understand what the Mesha has to offer in the Navamsha. Okay. So Krura is like the father. You look at the fathers of 80s, fathers will punish the children. I mean, I'm talking about general fathers. Okay. If you've had a bad father or a very good father, that's a very different issue. But I'm talking about fathers in general of the Indian origin who existed till the 80 or the late 80s, where the parents used to discipline children. Today, the scenario is different. Parents are afraid of children. They cannot discipline children. They keep thinking, oh, he shouldn't be feeling bad. I have only got one child. There are so many child suicides, etc. I'm not talking of such people. But father, in general, is a cruel. That would mean that the person is trying to discipline him, or the planet is trying to discipline him, or the situations that are coming up are going to discipline him. Okay, be strict. So this is what Aries will offer. Okay, Saukhya. Don't again be carried away by the name Saukhya, which would mean comforts, right? Saukhya would mean comforts. Saukhya would mean comforts. That means what? The person has become lazy and he has gone into the comfort zone and not trying much. This can be one thing. Or the person has given up all the comforts and trying to be overactive and trying to do a lot of things in less time. This keeps happening with Aries Navamsha. The guy goes into comfort zone and then leaves the comfort zone, tries to do a lot of things at once. Okay. And again goes back to the lazy mode. This is Saukhya. Mangala. Okay. Usually Mangala is a very good term. People will think, oh, Mangala means Mangalmay ho, sab kuch acha ho, Kushal ho, right? Kushal Mangal ho. This is what we usually get to hear. What does usually Mangala means? Mangati Gachati, that's Mangala, right? Mangati means something that is bad is to be removed. And while removing the bad, the thing is unapologetic. So he wouldn't have any emotions while removing the bad thing. So sometimes a bad thing is removed and you cannot be sorrowful or very attached to it because it's bad, it has to be removed, right? Let's suppose a tumor grows up somewhere. And if a part has to be removed, you can't say to the doctor that, look, please don't remove this part because I like it very much. The doctor will say you would die. You cannot have attachments towards it. It has to be removed. It has to be removed, and it will be unapologetic about it. Right? So the person may be very strict. If your Lagna Lord gets into Aries, right, the person becomes very strict. He will not have emotions because Aries is a fire sign, doesn't have any emotions, right? What he's looking at, he's looking like a Mars, right? It can be any planet. Okay, now forget the planet. Look at what the Navamsha has to offer. Okay. Below that, you can look at what Navamsha it is in. Then you will have even more good understanding of what the characteristic of the person is. Okay. So Lagna Lord, in the sense, you have to look at the Lagna Lord from the D1. You don't have to look at the Lagna Lord from the D9. Okay. That is how the Navamshas are designed. They are actually not meant for Navamsha Lagna onwards. Okay. So Taurus, the Vrishabha. Taurus is the Vrishabha Rasi. This has the Navamshas like Bhoga, Bhritya, Bhukta, Mukta, and Bhokta. All of these represent almost the same thing. Bhoga, Bhukta, Mukta, and Bhokta. That means consuming something. Okay, so Taurus will show expenses. Okay, don't think Taurus will show a lot of money, etc. But if you have to spend something, you need to have it, right? Or you need to go for a loan. Both of these things will be visible from Taurus. A person is spending money a person is bhoga, right? Bhoga means you have bhoga, dana, and nasha. These are the three words that we use for resources. Bhoga means consuming something, dana means giving away something, nasha means the death of something. Look at what Venus is ruling in the zodiac. Venus rules the second house, the seventh house, and the 12th house. Second house is the bhoga. Seventh house is the nasha. Seventh house is the marka, right? Second house as well as the marka. And 12th house is the dana. If you look at, all three will have bhoga, dana, and nasha will be there in second house also. It will be there in the seventh house also. It will be there in the 12th house also. If you carefully observe what these houses stand for, these stand for bhoga, dana, and nasha only. Same thing will happen here. The only difference with the pada of Rohini second pada is in a Bhritya Navamsha. Okay, so this one is the only different one. Bhritya Navamsha is the Rohini, because it's the mantra is also like that. Indrasya Rohini, right? So you have, okay, Prajapate Rohini, I'm sorry. Prajapate Rohini Apaha Parastat. So you have Rohini. Rohini is the most obedient wife of Chandra or the moon. So obedience or slavery would mean the same. No matter what the moon does, Rohini was okay with it, right? So, and also Rohini is the youngest of all the 27 stars. So, because Rohini is youngest, Rohini thought serving the elders is the most important thing, right? Because I am the youngest, the duty of the youngers is to serve the elders, right? This is how the olden school of thoughts existed, and people always thought it is important to help the elders. So being a bhritya to elders, this is the only different thing. Otherwise, if you see bhoga, bhukta, mukta, bhokta, all would mean the same thing. One more difference you will find with mukta. Okay, mukta appears here. Hasta. Hasta is in mukta. Hasta second charana is in mukta pada. You see, hasta falls in Virgo in the D1. It falls in the Taurus in the D9, right? So it's, you see the theme of the thing, where if you look at from Taurus, the houses being ruled by Mercury, right? From Taurus, it is the second and the fifth, right? And from the Virgo, you will see that it will be the second and the ninth, right? Both will show the dharma or the ninth house, or the ninth from the ninth house, which will show that you look at the natural ninth and the 12th houses are connected, right? So what you will understand is the tyaga, right? Tyaga or the mukti is the tyaga. I got mukti from him. I got mukti from my problems. That means I left my problems, or my problems left me, right? So abandoning something is also called as mukti. Okay, I've not written this here. I think abandon is the right word. Abandon, spent, left. These are the keywords for Taurus. So abandoning something, okay, deserting something and leaving. Um, you know, let God forbid, let does not happen to anyone. But sometimes, right, you get to see people, suddenly absconding, not at the home, etc. You can see that thing from the mukta. I mean, don't think, okay, you have something in the mukta, somebody is going to run away from the home. Not every time this happens. Sometimes these are, non-material things. You get out of a problem. You got out of a problem. You got more money. You paid all your debts, and you became a mukta from the rina, right? Not every time they are visible to the eye, so don't be carried away with these names. Okay, sometimes yes, it applies for the material things as well. Now let's look at what Gemini has to offer, or the Gemini has to offer. It's called as the Mithuna in the Navamsha. We can see the names like Vilakshana, Vidya, Saumya, Pandita, Vichakshana, right? These are the kind of names that we will get to see. You can please read what I wrote as the meanings for these things. You can always read these things. I'm not reading them back. Okay. Vilakshana means something which is trying to be different from the origin. So Vilakshana is there only in the Ashwini third charana. I'm not very sure if it's a printing mistake or anything. Everywhere else it is called as Vichakshana. Only in the Ashwini third pada it is called as Vilakshana. Although both the words exist, I'm not very sure if it's a printing mistake because I only found a Telugu text of this. We already lost the Sanskrit. If anybody has the Sanskrit version or any other version, I read Tamil, I read Hindi, I read Telugu, I read English. So any of these versions, if you know, they are available. The book's name is Nakshatra Chintamani. Please find it out. If you find it, please let me know. Either I will buy it, or if you have a digital copy, please share it across. Let's be sure if it's Vilakshana or Vichakshana. But I think it is Vilakshana for the reason that the Ashwini falls in the D1, in the Aries, and it falls in the Gemini in the D9. You look at the characteristics of Gemini and the Aries; they are exactly opposite to each other. Mars and Mercury, are dire enemies. They don't like each other. Mars represents the south, Gemini represents the north, right? Mars is an aggressive planet. Jupiter deals everything with the intellect. Both are the karaka for the third house. One keeps saying that you have to use the bhujabala or the bakubala or the shoulder strength. The other one keeps saying that you have to use the intellect. Do not unnecessarily waste your physical energy. Please use the intellect. This is Mercury. Do not use the intellect. Keep fighting for it. Be a rebel so that people will be afraid of you and people have to be afraid for things to happen. This is Mars. People have to respect you as an intellect, and that's why things happen. This is Mercury. These two are completely two different rashis, or although the first and the third are very much connected to each other, or they balance out each other. That is why if you have to have to improve the Mercury inside, if Mercury is not able to be controlled, we may use Mars over it. Sometimes it will be done, not always, but yes, they don't go well with each other. So it is Vilakshana. That means something which is very different. Vilakshana, V in the Sanskrit has actually, it's not like the usual Hindi, Telugu, or the Malayalam for that matter would mean the same. Because in our languages of the later origins of the Sanskrit, certain things have been removed so that there is no much of confusion. In Sanskrit, the confusion prevails. Vilakshana can be something very different, or V means Vina also. Vina Lakshana. That means it shows no signs of anything, right? Or it can be many. Many is also V and nothing is also V. That is why the space is called as similar to that. It is the V thing, wherein there is nothing and there is everything. That is called as the Shunya, right? So similar thing is the V. V means many things exist together, or V means the Mercury and Mars got cancelled together and nothing lived, everything died. Okay. Vilakshana can also mean seeing something, forecasting something, foreseeing something, or not able to see anything, is a blind man. Okay. It can also show that. It can show there are a lot of symbols that exist. I mean, a lot of things are appearing because of this, or nothing is appearing because of this. This is an extreme thing. Okay. It became completely useless. What does it mean is there is no effect on the person. Okay. Or there are many effects on the person. These are the two things that you will see with Vilakshana. So it's an extreme thing. Either there are so many significations coming out of it, or nothing is coming out of it. This is what you will generally see when a planet being placed in Ashwini third pada. This is what I have seen. Then is Vidya. Don't again go by the name Vidya. Vidya usually means the intellect, the learning, the education, the wiseness the person has got. But there is a problem with these things. The problem with these Mercurian Vidya is, for that matter, even the Jupiterian Vidya or the Vidya itself is, it keeps thinking that everybody in this world should be educated. There should be no one left without an education. Okay, one way it is good. I don't deny everybody has to be given the chance to get educated, exit, right? It is not talking about the rights. It is talking about the imposition of education on everyone. There are two different things. Not every person can grow intellectually, but this would mean, Vidya would mean, I have to impose education on everyone, and he will try to educate people who cannot be educated. And with that, it's a tiring thing, right? You become very tired if you're trying to educate people who cannot be educated, who do not want to be educated. One is they will revolt and say, look, I don't want to get educated. Why are you teaching me? I'm not interested in this subject. Let's suppose you're teaching criminology to me. I don't know if I would be interested, right? Or for that matter, anyone. If he's not interested in a subject like astrology, if you're trying to teach him, look, I will teach you astrology, you can't pull him, right? So the problem with these Mercury and Jupiter, these signs, is they want to educate people, and they will not mind if the other person is criticizing or not listening or not. His job is to, my job is to educate. You want to listen, do not listen. My dharma is to tell you. There are some people like this, correct? So that is what Vidya will mean. Saumya will mean, I mean, I'm not telling you what Vidya would literally mean, that also will apply. I'm not denying that Vidya will not apply on the good sense. It will also apply. I'm not emphasizing on it because it's already known to most of us. What Vidya means, everyone knows. So the person is a learned man. The person is a scholarly man. This already is known. But what happens when you're scholarly and learned? That's what I'm trying to, decipher and tell you that. Okay, so don't get carried away by these things. Saumya, right? Saumya means soft person. Okay, in other words, he's a timid person, right? Mercury is timid. He's a child, right? If you're trying to yell at him, he's very timid man. He is very afraid. So physically weak, because children cannot lift too much of weights, etc. Physically a little weak. He's very soft in talking, right? And these are the two. It can still be good. See, somebody who is physically weak, what does it mean? He cannot apply strength. What he will apply is his brain. So he is a very big intellect, and as the world is growing and growing and growing, as we grow further on, it will be more Mercury. The Mars will die out. It will be more Mercury. What does it mean? People who are more intelligent are going to rule the world. At one point in time, when you go back 3,000 years ago, whoever was the strongest of all in physique, they can kill everyone and he can rule the land, or he can terrorize people and say, look, I am the king, right? That is Mars. Today, the more the intellect that you have, you sit across in a remote place and control the whole world. You can do anything with the computers that we have today, correct? So Mars can be actually controlled using Mercury. That's what we are doing, right? You can employ someone paying money. Mercury is money. And you can buy a bodyguard for you. Bodyguard is Mars, right? So the world is becoming more and more Mercurian, and more of the Mars is dying off. Okay. Then is physically weak, soft in talking. I've explained this already to you. Pandita. This also is another word which usually people think, oh, I'm a pandit. It's a very good thing to have. No, pandit is also comes with problems. Pandita is knowing languages. Pandita is a scholarly person, because Pandita falls in the Hasta. Okay, Pandita falls in the Hasta. The third pada of the Hasta is called as Pandita. So this Pandita is how to make more money. Okay, relate everything to money. I'm doing something. How is it going to benefit me in the material world? Most of the things that we do in the world are not material. If you know how the life of a person happens, material thing that we do, although we go to office every day, you will say, look, I'm going to office most of my life. While I'm awake, I'm spending it in the office. Why do you say that We are not doing it for money. No, we are not doing it for money. While you are in the office, also the maximum productive time that you will have is only 10%, unless you are a machine, right? Other 90% goes in managing other people. This is what most of the people are doing. If you really understand what working is, only 10% of your time really goes into. The other 90% is either you're traveling, if you're a marketing fellow, if you're a ordinary guy, then you're doing more meetings. You're only doing managing things, and it takes like a simple decision takes like 5 days of time, right? Because you're trying to convince the other people. This is not money. What Pandita thinks is, why do I have to explain it to those people? Okay, because they can't understand the kind of intellect that I have. They don't understand, so I will not explain it at all, or I will only explain it to people of my level, right? Nobody right now stands at his level. Okay, and then he's also afraid to say it to seniors, although he knows a lot of things. Panditas are very afraid to rajas, right? Because one is they don't. Will the raja respect me or not? I don't know. Should I go to the raja or not? Should I be selling my vidya? There's so many timid things that the Mercurian aspects are there. Those you have to apply here. However, these are the Gemini Navamsha is a very good Navamsha by and large. So when I say this, do not think that okay, from this Navamsha nothing bad can happen. Bad also can come. Okay, depending on your lagna, what your lagna has basically as an agenda, what your planets are doing. Then why are you teaching this? You need to know these generic things. Then only you can go into the next levels. Okay, because if your basics are very strong, then everything falls in place. The final thing is Vichakshana. Vichakshana is similar to the Libra, right? Virgo and Libra are very, very connected. They are almost like very similar. You take the Chitra Nakshatra that has two padas in Virgo and two padas in the Libra. Chitra is like the weighing, right? Chitra weighs, that's why it's called as the Satyam Parastat, Ritam Parastat, Satyam Avastat. You know what is Satyam? Satyam means the God, right? Truth. Truth is the God. So the person keeps thinking or keeps weighing the pros and cons. Okay, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? What if I do this? What if I do that? That is weighing the pros and cons. That is what is all about Libra is. And he's always stuck in this. Should I be doing this or not? Should I be doing this or not? This is what the Gemini, the Virgo and the Libra have to offer. Okay. So then is the Cancer. Then is the Cancer. Okay, Vichakshana, I said Virgo, but even it's also the Gemini is also the Mercurian sign. So it can have the similar quality, which is the Vichakshana, right? Then is Cancer. Cancer, see, Cancer gets Jupiter's exaltation, right? Cancer is the place where Jupiter gets exalted. Jupiter means the dharma. A lot of people think Jupiter will give you money. Jupiter will give you money. Jupiter will not give you any money. If you're wise enough, you will know what money is. Okay. Jupiter will give you, from the Panchogiri's thing, if you have attended, he will say it in one line. Jupiter will give you the happiness of the life. You know, you have a very good understanding of life. This is what Jupiter will give you. A good Jupiter will mean what you should do. What is your job in this world? If you don't have a proper Jupiter, you do not know what to do, what your dharma is. Dharma does not mean the religion. In Indian context, dharma means what is the thing that I have to do in a timeline. What is my timeline? What is my job? And what is my timeline? And who has to be followed up for this? There are three things, right? Who, what, and when. The three W's. That is what is Jupiter, or the Sagittarius for that matter. When we come to Sagittarius, I'll tell you. So dharma is linked to Sagittarius. These two will work together. Cancer and Sagittarius will work together, wherein Cancer is the validation point of that. Are you doing what has to be done? Or are you not doing what has to be done? That is what Cancer will keep telling. Okay. So if you're doing what has to be done, sitting at a place. Let's suppose you're a father of a child. What you should do? What are the duties of a father? Are you doing them properly? If you're a husband, are you doing them properly? If you're an employee, are you doing them properly? Okay, that is what Cancer is all about. One is either you're doing them very well or you're not doing them very well. From there, the phalita will come, the result will come. Then Cancer is Ati, especially when it is the Rohini's Cancer. Rohini's fourth pada goes into Ati. Okay, Ati means, I don't know if it is Ati or Anti. It cannot be Anti. It can be Ati only. So I'm picking this up as Ati. Ati means moon, actually. See, moon is the Manas. Manas will always think there is no boundary for me to, gain something. I have to keep gaining. I have to keep winning. See, is there anyone who will play something to lose? No, right? There will be no person in this world. Look, I'm playing this game, but I want to lose in this. Nobody does that. Manas always wants to win, right? The self always wants to win. I mean, if you use self, the word, it will connect more to sun than the self really. So I dislike using self, and Manas has no real word in the English. Okay, so Manas, Man, that doesn't have the real word in English. So I'm using the same word Manas. It's the same in all the languages, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi, Malayalam, everywhere it is the Manas or the Man, right? So Manas is always unsatisfied. Will this be a good thing or a bad thing? Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. If you have to put more efforts, if you're unhappy, then unsatisfied is very good, right? If you're struggling for money, what is that you should do? You have to come out of your comfort zone, put more efforts, and try to work more hard, right? That is unsatisfied, which is very good. On the other side, it's the same thing. Being satisfied as well is also comes from Ati. So fourth house is the comfort thing, right? The person is very satisfied with what he is doing and not doing anything, or the person is unsatisfied and wants to do a lot of things. These two are the major characteristics of planets in the Karkataka Rashi of the Navamsha. All that I'm talking about is only about the Navamsha. It has got nothing in the D1. Then some Navamshas that fall in Cancer are Dhana Navamshas. Do not think Dhana would give me a lot of money. Okay, it doesn't give you any money, to be very frank with you. None of the Dhana Navamshas will give you any money. Dhana Navamshas will give you a very good talking capabilities, very good communicative skills, very great, merry-making skills, cracking jokes. Okay, this person keeps cracking jokes, right? Some people are very good at cracking jokes. Very good communication skills. Let's suppose he's an orator, he will keep the thing very interesting such that he will keep cracking jokes in between. Although if it is a philosophy lecture, people will try to crack a few jokes here and there so that he will keep the lecture interesting, right? Such kind of things will come from the Dhana. You know what Dhana means? It's just the second house. Most of the second house is invisible. I mean, it's not the wealth. A lot of people think it's wealth. Actually, the second house is, when you die, right? How people will respond. That is your second house. When you die, how many have you got to visit you? Oh my God, this man is gone. So that comes in the second house, right? It is actually not the money. That's why it's the second house is also the marka thing, or things that happen around the death and the birth. That is the second house. You die, your second house will shrink. You, in the sense, anybody dies, the second house shrinks. Anybody be born in your family, the second house expands. It's the family thing, kutumbasthana, right? When somebody dies, you can't talk anymore to him. When somebody is born, you can talk to him, right? I mean, if you keep connecting, you will connect all the dots and you will have a lot of understanding. A lot of people think everything in this thing is related to money. It's not actually related to money at all. And why most of the people look at horoscopes is for the money, and they get confused in between. So most of the Parashara's teachings are what the mind is going through. That is why we are using the moon's nakshatra for the Vimshottari. Why can't we use sun's nakshatra? Why can't we use the Lagna nakshatra? Why can't we use some other nakshatra? Why are we using moon's nakshatra is for the Vimshottari? Because moon is the manas. You may have 200 crores of debt, but the person can be happy. That is why his moon is like that. His dasha is like that. One may have 10 lakh rupees. You'll get to see in the news, right? Usually in the villages, somebody has a debt of 20,000. He committed a suicide because he could not pay that 20,000 back. You, me, and people like us will be very surprised. How can a person take his life off just for the sake of 20,000? Assume this in a bigger number. Somebody has 200 crores of debt, right? If you're worth 200 crores or even more, then you will think, okay, 200 crores is not a big deal. If you talk to Ambani, he would say 200 crores, that's jujube, that's like peanuts for me. If you talk to a person like me, I would say 200 crores is too much, right? So everything is, you have to relate. You cannot say, oh, this is good, that is bad. Artha. The other thing is artha. Artha would mean, the first word I wrote is alms, right? Alms means, begging. Actually, artha is none of the money that you have is yours. People keep saying the resources that you are using are not given by your fathers, but actually you have got a loan from your children, or the future children have given you a loan. You have to return them back properly. This is what is the resources are. That is how you have to use your resources, right? So alms it can be donations, it can be receiving donation or giving donation. That is what Jupiter represents, giving away money. That's why he rules the 12th house. Venus gets exalted in the 12th house. The Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, Venus exalts. It's because acharyas are saying, give away everything, don't keep anything for you. This is what the gurus are preaching, right? You go to any guru will say, come on, don't carry a baggage, leave it. Okay, leaving is 12th house. Donating away is 12th house. You have a grudge on someone, don't keep it, give it away, 12th house, right? Leaving grudges is also 12th house. Not carrying any baggage is 12th house. That is why Mercury debilitates there. Mercury wants that baggage. I want to keep that grudge on him. If you don't keep a grudge, let's suppose you wanted to start a company, right? And you want to beat someone, what will you do? You will keep a grudge on someone and you'll start it. You want to beat someone. That means you are having a grudge on someone. You're attached to it. That is Mercury. That is why Mercury debilitates in the 12th house, in the Pisces. He says, oh, how can I compete here? There is nothing visible. It's all water. There is no point in competing at all. No matter how much ever you compete, at last you're going to leave the world. Nothing will exist. It is not your own. You're going to leave all your money here. At the most, you will live 100 years. After that, everything will be somebody else's. You think he's your son, but after you die, he is not your son anymore. These are all the Pisces things. Why I'm talking about Pisces and Cancer is because all three are linked. Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio are all linked. They're all linked to dharma, right? The more dharma that you follow, they're all the same. So artha would mean you giving money to people, or you getting loans, or dealing with money, dealing with loans. You are somebody as an employee in a bank, you're dealing with the loans, right? Then is Leo, Nripa. Nripa. Okay, Nripa, Raja, Bhupa, Utpanna, Tikshana. These are the Leo things. See, Nripa, Bhupa, Raja, Utpanna, Tikshana. If you see the first two words, Raja and Nripa, if you have a dictionary, pick it up, try to Google these words and what do they mean, they all will mean the same. Nripa and Raja for sure, Bhupa to a large extent will all mean a king. Okay, but they have subtle differences between them. Nripa comes from Nara Pala. Nr is Nara, Pa is the Pala. People, a person who is ruling a bunch of people. Okay, so when somebody is ruling a bunch of people, look at a sarpanch or someone like that at your place. If you are in a village, or if you know any politician, closely, who is like a kingly politician, not the usual kind of politicians that we have either in the US or in the India for that matter. Don't look at them. They are very, very biased people. They are working only for themselves. No one works for people. They're just biased and they just are doing a showgiri, showbazi, right? In Hindi, we say showbazi. That is what people are doing right now. But Nripa means very unbiased, who is not going to favor anyone. This is what the real Leo is. The biggest problem with Leo is not helping his own people. He will find 100 reasons to say no to his own people and yes to somebody else, because he thinks I am acting unbiasedly. This is the very biggest negative of Leo in the Navamshas. But Leo is extremely good to lead a team of people. If he is, let us suppose he is the God. Assume him to be God. Okay, now look at it as a person. If he has the authority to grant wishes, he will say, okay, these are all the good things that you have done. Take these wishes. You are eligible only for this. I'll go by the rule book. This is what Leo does. He goes by the rule book and says, look, this is what is the good that you have done. You are so much worth. I'm paying you this much. Okay. This, the person himself could be doing, or the result that is coming out could be that. Because of this, of the karma that he did. See, fifth house is what? Purva Punya, right? This is what is the fifth house. That is the Leo. That is what it is. So the karma that you did in the past janmas is coming out as a bundle and it is going to give you as a result. So Leo is a lot unexplainable, right? Whatever is explainable, if this person has the Leo characteristics or he has somebody standing in front of him as a Leo, both can be possible. I know it will be a lot confusing when you listen to these words, but Leo by and large will mean somebody who is ruling and somebody who is being ruled. Okay, in that I'm trying to explain what Nripa means. Nripa does a lot of things for prestige. See, I am a ruler, so I cannot be wearing clothes of, substandard. Let me wear a bright and shiny clothes. Anybody who has very good planets in the Leo, you can see his, the kind of clothes he is wearing. He wouldn't be wearing old clothes. He would be wearing neat, tidy. By his appearance itself, you'll be able to say this guy, maybe he's poor, but this guy is rich, or this guy is big. This guy is worth, right? These are those things that he will establish for himself. He will be a ruler. He will be unbiased. Don't think unbiased is a very good thing, as I just have explained. His own people will be cursing on him, saying, look, you're denying me a lot of privileges despite you being a chief minister of the state. You're denying me so many things because you're saying go by the rule book, and you asked me to compete in a tender. I came through the tender. Now the tender has gone to somebody else. He will say, look, that is how it is. Whoever gives me the lowest value, the rule book says I have to give tender to him. Why have you not quoted us a lower tender? See, I have been pleading you, saying that you don't need a tender. You have the enough power to grant it. You could have given it to me. A lot of people in the past who sat in this chair did the same thing, but you are not doing this. He will go back to his place and he will say, look, don't go to this man. He does more bad to his own people, and he does help the other side of the people. Okay, this is also possible from the unbiased word. He will have a little bad name for this. He will say he keeps scolding the known people and he keeps praising the unknown people. Okay, this also can be there. And Raja, look at typical Rajas that we had in the past, I don't know, when about 200 years ago. People were afraid to meet the Rajas. They were not interested to do a job in the Raja Asthana, right? In the Raja Darbar, or where the Raja used to live, the king's palace. Not many are interested to work there. You know why? Because we don't know when the Raja is going to be angry on me. If the Raja is going to be angry, what he will say? get his head off, right? Kill him. If the Raja is happy, he will say, okay, take $1,000, right? 1,000 gold coins. Take this complete area of the land. You be the Subedar, I mean, whatever, dar of that thing, Zamindar of that, right? So he cannot control emotions, right? So either the praise or the punishment, both are in equal terms. So not many people will be interested to be alongside him, because he talks all rules, regulations, this, that. Even if nobody is looking at, he keeps talking about all this nonsense, which a lot of people will not like. Bhupa. Bhupa means owner of a land, correct? What do tigers do? Tigers define boundaries, right? He would say lions would do. Lions would define boundaries and say, look, this is the place that is my territory. I will not let other lions to come in. Me, myself, my family, and my kids. That's all. I will not let other lions to come in. This is what lions predominantly do. What does it mean is, it is not, occupying somebody else's land. It means it has got nothing to do with the land also. It means this is my arena. This is my domain. You cannot comment here. This is usually with the Leo, the Navamsha. Okay. Please don't comment on what I am doing, because I know what I am doing and I'm very clear. This is my arena. Please don't step into this. I will kill you. This is what is Bhupa. Okay. Utpanna. Now see, Utpanna means, Utpanna comes from something like this. The fatherly thing, right? It's the fifth house, the seed thing. We all are seeds, right? We were all sperm, correct? We were all the Shukrakanas. We were all the Shukranus. So, take this in the positive sense, from the Vedanta sense. Okay, do not fall down from your principles. Now we got released from our father, and we were in a race. When the sperms are racing towards the ovum, we were all in a race, right? And we were obsessed with our own selves, right? We thought we are the best in the group, and that's why we could reach the ovum and the fertilization of us happened. There could have been loads of sperms that came out of a father and they were not fertilized, right? So being obsessed of oneself, right? And whatever I am creating is the best. I cannot accept the other person's creation. That is Utpanna. First thing is, the good side of it is, I being a creator. I made something out of something. So one is that thing, which is very, very essential. Not ordinary people can create something, right? He's a very good creator. He creates something. But with his creation, he's very obsessed. He's not able to show some flexibility. He's not rigid, right? He's very, very creative. Very good Navamsha this is. This is excellent Navamsha. Excellent Navamsha. This will give you enormous money, enormous power. Everything comes in loads of loads. But I'm only trying to give you the other side of it, which you already know. I'm not trying to describe that. Don't take things, oh, why are you defining Nripa is a bad thing? I'm only trying to give you the other side of it. Nripa, anyway, everybody knows. If you belong to an Indian tradition, you know what Nripa is. You know what Bhupa is. You know what Raja is. It's the same words in Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Hindi, Gujarati. It will be the same word. No different. Because we all came from the same place. Right? Utpanna. Utpanna is creation. So he's a big creator, like the Brahma. You know why Utpanna is there mostly in the Sun and the Jupiter thing? Because it's the fifth house thing, right? Fifth house are children. And Jupiter, Sagittarius is also children, because fifth from the fifth house. 5 houses from the fifth house is Sagittarius. So it also is Utpanna. Something is born out, right? I mean, look at how we treat our children. Even, I mean, don't take me wrong. If a children is very dark complexioned, if your child is dark complexion, not that great looking, but every mother will kiss her child and say, look, you are the most beautiful child in the world. You're obsessed with the child that you have, right? There's nothing wrong in it. That's so natural to be obsessed with your own child and you believing that I have got the best child in the world. There's nothing wrong in it, correct? So that is what is Utpanna. I mean, I'm trying to give you the negative side of it. Although it's not the reality, the person feels that this is the best thing that I have created. Anything created by me is the best. See, that should also be there. If you think whatever I have created is the worst, that will lead to mental issues, right? It will lead to depression. It will lead to a lot of issues. So this will create a lot of superiority complex. Okay, so one should be very careful about let the superiority complex not creep into me. It's so natural because if you're obsessed, you can't listen to the other side of it. I think we're running short of time. You have to be a lot faster. Tikshana is sharp and harsh and untired. Tikshana is sharp, harsh, and untired. As I said, the sun is Krura. Sun is like the father. Okay, he would keep disciplining. And this man is never tired because sun always comes at the same time every day or the defined time every day. He would not think, okay, let me take a leave today. Nothing like that. He would keep coming, right? So Leo, if the planet is in the Leo, the person works untiredly or he doesn't have enough time to manage a lot of things. He has to manage a lot of things. That is Leo. Okay. So this way it is good, bad, you decide. There is nothing called as good result, bad result. Don't be carried away with these things. There is nothing like that. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. You only have a result. If the person is very busy, not able to have enough time for family, is this good or bad? It's good in one sense, he's earning a lot of money. His family can enjoy all the benefits. It's bad in one sense for his own self, because one is if he's continuously working, he may, have a bad health in the later stage, or his family keeps feeling that, look, my husband is not around. A lot of all the all the couple are together, they're living together, etc. The wife would be feeling very bad for it, etc. Now move on to the Virgo. Virgo has these words: Napunsaka, Chanda, Saumya, Abhaya. See, Napunsaka is a very tricky word. Don't go by the literal meaning of it. Napunsaka would mean neither yes nor no. That is what Virgo is by and large. Okay. Virgo does not come to a conclusion of yes or no. Virgo is analysis. Virgo is countless, no ending. Virgo doesn't have an ending. It keeps drilling downwards. Virgo keeps going down, keeps analyzing. Let us suppose if you have a bottle of water, you want to see what chemicals are present in it. Okay, I'm giving it in a different perspective. What will you do? You give it to a chemical lab, they'll say these are those percentages of chemicals available. You give it to a better lab, he will say 15 more chemicals are there, but their percentages is like 0.05%, 0.01%, 0. Furthermore, if you give it to another, sophisticated machine or a lab, it will give you 15 more chemicals, right? Which will say 0.001% of so much, this chemical, 0.0001% of this and this chemical. Okay. And if you add another machine to it to understand what else is there, it will be a countless number of thing. I mean, you can add it to infinite. There is no stopping. It will keep coming, right? That is what Virgo is. It keeps drilling downwards. It goes microscopically. It keeps drilling downwards microscopically. It keeps understanding a lot of things which may not be useful for ordinary world. You are living in a simple world. The simpler it is more easy for people to understand. Virgo is the most complex thing. So it will not say yes, not say no. For example, if you have to pass, if you're a chemist and if you have to pass your water, I mean, you have to certify whether the water is useful for your production. Okay, now with that example, I'm trying to complete that. So he will say, look, I'm doing more tests. There is no end to it. If you happen to be in a pharmacy company, the company would say, please remove this man. He's unfit. He's not able to certify it. If you are in a research organization, the company would be very happy. Oh, wow. he's able to get this result out of that, out of this, it's kind of a research person where there is no yes or no. If you look at the researchers, right? If you look at big people who do researches, I'm not talking about this usual PhD people where they fake up everything and file. What are you doing? I'm doing thesis. You ask him what thesis he has done. I mean, I'm a layman. I encountered a lot of people who said I'm doing a PhD. I asked him what his PhD was. He would say, look, there are 5, 6 PhDs already done. What I'm doing is I'm trying to rewrite them in a different way so that I get the PhD out of it. I mean, I'm making no joke. I'm not kidding. I've seen such people. Okay, these kind of people are doing PhDs. So the real PhD thing is what is Virgo. Okay, so Napunsaka is not having a lineage. Okay, so the person may not have girl, may not have boy children, only girl children, or may not have children at all, right? Or the person is a girl, behaves more like a boy. The person is a boy, behaves more like a girl. What does this mean? Usually girls weep, boys do not weep, right? They don't cry. So you find a guy who is crying. You find a girl who is physically strong, who is up for any fight. Let's suppose neighbors are fighting. Who would generally go out and inquire what's happening or stop them? Usually the men from the home go out and say, look, why are you quarreling? Please don't quarrel, etc., etc. It is the girl in this case. The girl goes out and says, look, hey, why are you quarreling or fighting each other? Please stop. I mean, usually it is not expected from women. So what is expected? I mean, there is always a generic statement, right? People always stereotype. This is against the stereotype, right? Or in other words, Mercury is a child. He shouldn't be doing research. He should be at the school. But this man is doing the research. That is Virgo. That is what he's interested in. Actually, he wants to become that. So there is neither yes nor no. This is the only negative thing in this. So result is not coming out. Right? Chanda is an expert. Right? Chanda is an expert, and Chanda is like the Bhishma, right? Chanda. What does Chanda mean? Is he is an expert. He will not allow others to peep into his thing. He has no emotions because Mercury is a dry planet, doesn't like the moon. Okay, what he thinks is my father moon is bad because he gets carried away by emotions. I should have no emotions. In that process, what actually happened is he became more emotional. Okay, by thinking that I will be emotionless, actually Mercury is also having a lot of emotions because Buddhi also carries a part of the mind, right? Manas and Buddhi are very related. Actually, an emotion generates Buddhi. So a part of Buddhi itself is emotion. Although the mind will keep saying, no, I am emotionless. But mind is all emotion. Buddhi is all emotion only. Okay. So Saumya. So what does Buddhi keep thinking is, let me not be biased. Let me do my job. I'm the expert in this. I mean, ferocious is the wrong word. I didn't get the right word for it. What I literally meant is he will not allow any room for compromise. Right? He's an expert. He wants to do it the expert way. Sometimes doing everything in an expert way is not necessary. It complicates things. It delays things. It let's suppose a good has to be sold at 100 rupees, and if you're wanting to make it at 200 rupees, can you sell it? The market needs a product at 100 rupee. We call it product positioning or the product pricing. These are different terms that we use in the management systems. So if you're making a product for 200, will it qualify? No, right? No, you can. The researcher comes back to the management and says, look, I've made a better product. The company will say nobody will buy it, right? So that's Mercury, Virgo. Forgetting everything and trying to be, to be on the side of the expertise. That is also the Virgo thing. Abhaya, not acting, being unmoved. This is both good and bad. Sometimes you have to act, complete something, take an action over something. Virgo doesn't like to take an action because he thinks, let me analyze, let me keep analyzing. There is something that is coming out. Maybe we don't know. Maybe, you go to very big experts in a subject, right? Especially this happens in chemistry. Somebody says, sir, I have got this result after this experiment. He will not deny it. He'll say, hey, come on, don't fool around. He'll say, are you sure? He'll say, yes, sir, I've done 4 or 5 times. Then he will say, okay, let me come and see why this has come. This is the usual way of approach. Unless he has been doing the same test every day in and day out, that's a different thing. He will right away say, okay, this is not possible, something is wrong. Go there, check this kind of instrument. You have to put this at this setting so that you get the right result, etc. Anyway will come, right? So unmoved, not taking an action and analyzing constantly. Okay, this is also abhaya. Abhaya, anyway, you know the real meaning of abhaya, that also will come. Who is unmoved by anybody else's comments, he will keep doing what he is doing, which is good. One way it is good. You don't think anything is good or bad, okay? You have only the result. Libra is abhaya, not acting, unmoved, unafraid. As I explained, Libra gets the Saturn in exaltation, right? Saturn exalts here. Who has the habit of postponing things? Saturn wants a place where he can postpone things. This is abhaya. Libra postpones things a lot. Let me do it tomorrow. Let me do it day after. Let me do it sometime else. I'm capable of doing. So what if I do it tomorrow, day after, whenever? I'm capable, right? I don't have to look for somebody else. I know what I'm doing. This can be good or bad. Sometimes certain things have to be delayed and done. For them, it is good. Certain things have to be acted right there. For those things, it is bad. Because sometimes we say, right, Kala will give the samadhana. That means the time will give a solution to it. In such cases, abhaya is very good. Not acting upon something, waiting for something is very good. But if you have to act, otherwise you're going to fail, then it is very bad. Shura means even if he is alone, Venus, see, the might of Venus is alone. He's fighting Vishnu. Vishnu is the Aditya, and Venus is nothing in front of him. Right? Look at how much is the volume of sun. It can fit so many Venuses into it. Despite that, Venus thinks I'm hotter, and I can fight the sun. Right? So actually, it is because it's the most hottest after the sun. You look at all the planets, after the sun, Venus is the most hottest. If you have to have heat, then you go to Venus, other than the sun, right? So unafraid, even when fighting alone. And who is he fighting along with? He's fighting along with the Saturn, which is the most coldest. If you combine Saturn and Venus, even Venus will become the most coldest, right? Because Saturn is such cold. Bhagya, shade between unexplained fortune or misfortune. Okay, for that matter, Libra, it gives a lots of fortune. Libra is all fortune. The more the Libra is better, it has good planets. The more better is the fortune. Libra has afflictions. The fortune is afflicted, especially Mars, Saturn, etc. But don't jump over and say, oh, no, I have Saturn, so it means my fortune is gone. Please don't be like a kid. Don't behave like a kid. Okay, you have to look at everything. If it was so, then people could have made simple software saying, look, Saturn is in the Libra, so your all fortune is gone. Why I'm trying to give Saturn in the Libra is, a lot of people think my Saturn is exalted. Oh, I'm going to get very great things. Nothing works like that. Okay, if Saturn is in the Libra is afflicted, especially in the Navamsha. Okay, so don't go by such things. Okay, you have Sun in the Libra, it can be very good as well. Okay, Saturn in the Libra, it can be very bad as well. Don't stereotype things. Stop looking at the exaltations and debilitations. If you are looking at them, try to right click on that planet and see when will the planet change. You will get an answer. For every minute there are 3 people born. Try to multiply the number of people that you will have. You will get the answer. Okay. So Lagna is the fastest thing that moves. It moves faster than the moon. So you have to use the Lagna. Okay. Don't go by shortcuts. You will fail. Scorpio. Okay. This is the most cursed or most disliked by astrologers, especially from the Navamsha. After Aquarius, Scorpio is most disliked, but not every time things work like that. Papa is money from the troubles of others. I think I have explained this hundreds of times. I'll tell you once again. Anybody has a problem, you're trying to solve it. You are living on people's problems. First is lawyers. You have opened up a lawyer shop, you're a lawyer, okay? And if nobody in your town, village, etc. is quarreling, what is the job of a lawyer? Nobody is fighting. No two brothers in the, let us suppose you are an expert in inheritance issues. There are no inheritance issues in your locality. Nobody will come and visit you. You are a doctor. Nobody has any illness. Nobody will come and visit you. You can't make money. So how will these people live? They have to pray the God that let people quarrel, let people have more diseases so that I have to get money, right? That is the Papa. Papa means that living on solving other people's problems. Today's world, the more you can earn is only due to this. So you have a Papa thing, you are trying to solve other people's problem, you should be happy. The only thing associated with the Scorpio is moon gets debilitated here. There is a reason for it. Moon is money. Moon is your, the foresight or what you think about tomorrow. Moon is a miser when it is debilitated, right? Moon thinks there is no fortune tomorrow. If I don't keep enough money for tomorrow, day after the other day, next 10 years later, 15 years later, for me, for my child, my grandchild, I don't have enough money. Okay, so moon gets you into daridra. Okay, so you may have money, but you will keep saying, no, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money. I'm not talking about Scorpio moon. I'm talking about the Scorpio itself, right? I'm talking about why moon debilitates here. Okay, do not think having a Scorpio moon. Okay, I get to see a lot of people asking such nonsense questions. Sorry for the language, but that's how mostly people are asking. It doesn't work like that. You're not using Lagna, then you're gone. Okay, use Lagna. So Daridra would mean being miser, being cheap. Cheap people, right? They will have money, but they will act as if they don't have money. Somebody, let us suppose 3-4 friends go to a party or they hit the bar. The cheap people would say, look, I don't have enough money, or they don't come up to pay the bill. I mean, this happens usually in India. I mean, let's suppose the bill is like 7,000-10,000 rupees for 4 people. Usually these people don't come up to pay, right? That's the daridra. It's not about not having money. He has money, but he has no understanding of how long his money will last, right? He has no good planning of it. He thinks, unless I'm a miser, I cannot live. I will live for 1,000 more years, right? I have to see that my next child, my grandchild, all these people get enough money. These are actually very good, right? In today's material world, if you're looking at from the material aspect, anybody takes a consultation for astrology, what he would ask, would I have enough money? Would I have enough money for my child? Can my child settle well? What are you doing? You're asking the same question. Why do you be offended if I say that? I'm also the same. If I go to an astrologer, I'll ask the same thing. There's nothing wrong in it. Don't think this is a wrong thing. Okay. Nietzsche, doing tit for tat. Okay. Tit for tat, carrying baggage, tit for tat, remembering what bad somebody has done and trying to give it back to him in more intense, along with the interest. Or let's suppose you bait me once, I will beat you 10 times because that's the interest that I'll pay you. You hit me once, I'll hit you 10 times. This is one kind of torture. So what Sanjay Rath's students like Visti Larson will say, Scorpio is torture. Either you're facing the torture or you're giving the torture, right? Torture. Who will torture? Unwise people will torture, according to me. Uneducated people will torture, because tit for tat, there is no meaning in tit for tat, because you have got some karma to enjoy in this world. That's why you have come, and that's why a punishment came in. There is no point in doing a tit for tat. because somebody who did something to you is only a nimitta matra. That means he was only an instrument. He did not have anything. Okay, it's only an instrument used by the god to give you a punishment for the sin that you have done in the past. This is what, this is what people with Saumya Navamshas will think. Okay, so Ugra is talking candidly, overstating the bads of someone, overstating the wrongdoings of someone. That's Ugra. See, Ugravadi is a typical term across all the South Indian languages, which means a terrorist. What is, I mean, don't take it in the literal means of what terrorist means today. Look at it till about 20, 30 years ago from a normal angle when religion was so much not across. I mean, the wrong ways of religion portrayal is not across. What does a Ugravadi would mean? A rebel who was trying to go against something that is already established. Okay, that is Scorpio. And he is a non-diplomatic person. He doesn't have filters for the talk that he is doing. He is so open, candid, expresses the disgust that he has faced. Scorpio is disgust. Scorpio is expressing the disgust. So talking harshly, not appreciating the other person's, good. But if he felt very bad for it, he's very open and candid, but he's actually overly exaggerating things and trying to state big statements for it. This is all Scorpio. So the opposite fellow who is listening to this, even if you're talking about his own pitfalls, he will feel very bad for it. That is a Scorpio, right? Dhana, again I say, Dhana doesn't mean money. Dhana means over talking too much, right? It could be good, right? Because if you have to say something, you use a lot of expression, you use too many words, you use a lot of things while you express. So it gives you over talking. It can mean lecturing. It can mean someone who is teaching very well. It can also mean something that is sustaining something. Because see, dhana means the second. Why dhana is required? Why the second pada is called as dhana? Because you need something to sustain you. Even if you are a yogi, even if you say, look, I don't believe in money, I'm a very, sadhu, sant type of person, but you need food to eat, right? You cannot live without food. Where from food will come? Food comes from money. If you don't have money, you cannot eat food, correct? Very simple. You don't have money, you cannot eat food. That is what is the second house. Second house is a sustenance, right? So any pada that falls in the second house, what is dhana is? Dhana is very simple. Any pada that falls in the second house from the Rashi place. For example, you have a planet in Libra, right? In the D1. In the D9, it gets into Scorpio. The second house from the Libra, it is called as Dhana Navamsha. Very simple. The one that sustains the previous Navamsha. So what you have to see is, oh, this is a Dhana Navamsha. It means it is actually sustaining the previous Navamsha. It is giving a good result for the Libra. Okay. That is how you have to look at things. That is why I say it is too complex. Unless you know where from the D1 it is, where from the pada is. You just see a planet in the Scorpio and name it as a bad one. No, you can't do it. Neither Ugra is bad. Sometimes you have to revolt against the wrong things. If you keep sustaining injuries without rebelling, standing up a rebellion, people will take advantage of you. Sometimes you have to be harsh. There it is very useful, right? But let us not overdo it. If there is a person who is overdoing it or feeling very bad for it, depression for it, because Scorpio is depressing. Scorpio makes the person depressive. So if the person is feeling very depressed for it, we actually coach him as astrologers. Look, you shouldn't be depressed for this. Okay, you should come out of these things. These are the ways in which you can come out. You can actually coach how to come out of such things. It will come eventually. If you apply the right things, you will know why the person is in depression. You have to remove that. Okay. I know it is not easy, but it is possible. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a very, I would say it's a difficult Navamsha. Don't think, okay, Jupiterian Navamshas are very good, but right from the ninth Navamsha, the Jupiter, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, all these four Navamshas are actually very, very difficult Navamshas. Okay, because these are the big planets. Saturn and Jupiter very, very big, right? They have big mass, and they all come after the eighth house, right? You see Jupiter, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. If you have attended the Deepanjali classes, he also said the same thing. If you have attended Sanjay Rath lectures, he will also say the same thing in a little different way. All these would mean the same. What actually they would mean is they come after the eighth house. I like the statement from the Deepanshu's classes. These planets come after the eighth house. Look at the first house and the eighth house. First house is the Aries, eighth house is the Scorpio. Ninth house onwards, only Jupiter starts. If you have not seen the 9, 10, 11, 12 houses, you have not seen either the Jupiter or the Saturn. They are sharing all the four houses, right? So these are those that will be useful after the death, right? Or to avoid death, right? Or something away from the death. In general terms, these are useful like that. In the Navamsha, what I will say is these people of the Sagittarius are like the military. You have seen military people, right? You have seen military people. So these people will say, hey, it's 8, it's 7 in the evening. Let me have my dinner. Okay. It's 6 in the morning. Let me have my bath. If he, does a puja, very timeline based people, they sort out everything too much. And they'll say, okay, 8 o'clock, I'll do this, 9 o'clock, I'll do that, 10 o'clock, I'll do this. This will be my dinacharya or daily routine, right? And after 5 years, I'll do this. After 10 years, I'll do that. This is all planned up for the next 15, 20 years. They have, believe me, they may have written down plans. If you have big in the sense, many planets in the Sagittarius, Navamsha, they're very time-bound people. It's very difficult to actually convince them saying, look, there is no point in writing something that you will do after 15 years because the world is going to change, right? I mean, for a person like me who is the Pisces, who will say, look, the world is going to change. There's no point in planning for 15 years. Yes, planning is required, but keep the planning as limited as possible and take an action based on what is happening. Be a little more reactive, right? Than hyper planning. But Sagittarius is hyper planning. Dhana, Navamsha, as I said, is over talking too much. Or, what does Guru do? Guru does only the talking. He will call his disciple and say, look, this is how you handle a problem. Very detailedly, he will explain. And it will be the disciple who handles the problem actually. Or it will be the Mercury who handles it. Sagittarius actually coaches. And he keeps coaching his people. Sagittarius is on coaching, talking, lecturing, teaching, and also the sustenance. He provides the resources required for the person to sustain. But Sagittarius is more like a fatherly thing, which is the fifth from the fifth. It's also a fire sign. So he's Krura also. He's like the fatherly thing. He'll not give you ample resources. No, he will deny ample because you'll be spoiled. You're a college going kid. If I give you 10,000 rupees of pocket money, okay, I have 10,000 crores, but I'll give you 100 rupees every day. This kid will be very unhappy. My father has so many crores and he's giving me only 100 rupees. He says I'll be a spoiled kid. I have the same bloodline. Why I will be spoiled? Is he spoiled? The kind of questions kids ask? Same thing. Okay, Kripa. Kripa means, feeling for someone. Oh, he's in a problem. Let me try to help him. Okay. In the process of helping, this person leaves his job and tries to help others. Okay. Now his job is pending. He has not done the job. Okay. That's why the Sagittarius, the next Rashi is Capricorn. Sagittarius Lord falls off in the Capricorn. He goes down in the Capricorn, or he debilitates in the Capricorn because he's not able to do his work while he's teaching or explaining, or he has spent most of his time doing others' job, right? Utpanna. Utpanna is, as I said in the previous thing, also Utpanna means the creation, obsessed with his own creation. If you want the real thing, I have explained it here in the Leo. Please go to Leo. I have explained it there. So watch it there. I have clearly said what does it mean. Capricorn, I like this Navamshas so much. I don't have any planet here. I always repent for it. Capricorn is money. Money from the troubles of others. Okay, it's Papa. The only caution that I will give for Capricorn is, or for that matter, any of the Saturnine signs is, do not overdo anything because you are getting money. Getting money is possible with Saturnine Navamshas. You get a lot of money because you're trying to commit sin. Sin in the sense, don't take sin. Everything is sin. If you are working in an organization, it means that you have to retire for somebody else to take that position. It is also a sin. Okay, because you are ensuring that somebody else is not getting that job, who is in need is not getting that job, right? This is also a sin. If you look at very micro level, even for that you are punished. Now you will say, anyway, I'm going to get punishment, so let me do more sins. No, it's not like that. Okay, because the level of punishment will differ depending on what you're doing. You are certain things because you are alive, you have to commit some sins because you have got a family to, sustain. You have a family to provide food. Certain things you cannot avoid because you have to do a job, right? It's a sin because you are taking money and you are doing some job and you are denying the same position for somebody else who is actually in more need than you. And why you don't leave the job is because there is no guarantee that even if somebody else needs that job, if you quit, there is no guarantee that he will get the job. Who competes will get the job. That's why we are working, correct? So Taskara again is power, right? So power. The person is trying to get power. He wants to uninstall somebody who is already there, plotting against him, trying to get power. This happens with all the political people. Okay, unless the existing chief minister falls down, I cannot go and sit, which is not wrong. Okay, so I'm doing rallies. I'm trying to explain what are all the bad things the previous chief minister has done, or for that matter, whoever is in that position has done. And if you elect me, I'm going to change these things. Whether I will change or not, I only will know, because none of them can be changed. The previous chief minister has done his best. Okay, that I know already. But I will say that I'll give a different perspective to the people. That is why it is Papa, right? Every politician does this. Okay, don't weigh politicians on good levels. They're all the same. Okay, Ugra is over talking, standing up a rebellion. Okay, and non-diplomatic, and trying to say the wrongdoings of any person without applying any filters. Okay, and Dhana is also over talking, can lecture, can teach well. Dhana is also the sustenance of the previous Amsha. So it will sustain the previous Amsha. Go to that. Okay. Krura, Ugra is, see, Aquarius is also a loss-making sign. Okay. Loss-making sign. Okay. Carefully understand this. Loss does not mean money. Okay. Aquarius is loss. It can be loss of people who have run away from you. There is a father and a child and a mother. Father and mother, quarreled between each other. The father abandoned the family and left. This is Aquarius. Father met with an accident and left. Aquarius. Wife and husband quarreled. Wife or husband left each other, divorced. Aquarius. These are losses, right? Typical losses for a person. I lost my father. That's how you say it. I lost my wife. That's how you say it. Same thing. It's the loss. Loss of money. Okay. Loss of money can happen due to many things. You did a business, it went into losses, you lost money. Somebody duped you for money. Somebody came up in the online and said, look, you pay me 10,000, I'll make it tripled in 3 seconds. You paid him 10,000, although you knew that nobody can triple my money in 3 seconds. But what if it happens to be true? Let me have more money, right? That is what the Papa is. That is That is what is the illusion of Aquarius is. He will pose himself so well that you can be duped very easily and you fall for it. You went into it, lost a lot of money. You will get to hear a lot of people losing money, right? In the online, in the fraud, or a business partner came in, he said, I'll make more money, you please invest in this. He took the money and ran away, right? Or he did not deliver what has been promised. That is all loss. That is all Aquarius. The stronger the planets are, the stronger are the losses. You have Saturn, Rahu, you have, I don't know, you have Jupiter, many planets, many losses, right? So don't think, oh, I've got own sign Rahu, own sign Saturn. These indicate losses. By and large, Aquarius indicates losses, but Aquarius also indicates lots of gains, because it could be your enemies who are at losses and you are gaining. Okay, a loss could be for anyone. Your enemy is losing, and it is showing up in the Aquarius. So your enemy is losing and you are actually gaining. So what are you gaining? You're gaining more sin because your enemy is losing. So you're making sins towards it. Papa, again, money from the troubles of others. The more the general public are troubled, the more is the money that you will make. That is the Papa. The objective of Papa is that. Or Pap, okay, in that case. Bhaya is the fear of losing or fear of losses. There are few people, right? He will keep asking, will this be successful? Will this be successful? And he will keep asking to an extent where he will finally lose it because he doesn't have the confidence to run it. Right? That is also Bhaya. Pisces is, don't think this is a very good sign. This is a very confused sign. Okay. This doesn't know what to do, Pisces, because it's in the water. You see fishes, right? The most difficult sign, I would say, is Pisces. You can't understand this. You can't debate with this because Mercury debilitates here. There is no logic. But if Pisces ascendant, I'm a Pisces ascendant. If Pisces ascendant is talking in the Navamsha, okay, if he's talking, it would be both the ways, right? It would be both right and both wrong. How can a single thing can be both right and wrong? That is how the philosophy is. That is how complex the sign itself is. So one is, it shows dharma. What you are supposed to do, are you doing it or not? Okay, if you're doing it, you get the right results. Not doing it, you get the wrong results. So what do you advise him? Don't be emotional. Try to do what has to be done. Don't overthink. Okay, don't be emotional. Don't try to support anyone for anything, right? That is exactly opposite of Leo. See, Leo doesn't support anyone, and Pisces is exactly at the 8th house of it. Pisces can be very biased, right? Unless your Leo is countering it, you become a lot biased, right? Now I have filled up Leo and I have Pisces Lagna. So I'm a very confused man. Neither I'm very emotional nor I'm very, why I'm trying to say it about myself is not to say that I'm a great man or etc. How I'm looking at things is what that just came into my mind. So I said. So Utkrishta is all emotions. Utkrishta is doing the best. And some losses happened in the Aquarius, right? We have seen that Aquarius is the losses. And Pisces is pulling yourself out of the losses. Okay, somebody who is trying to sustain during the loss so that he's making more money when the time comes, right? You can use the example of stock market. When the stock market falls off, if you're a fool, you'll remove the money, you'll remove the share and say, look, I have booked the loss. If you're careful enough, if you know enough of stock market, how it works, you will wait and say, look, I'll book my profits after 5 years. But the only challenge here is you should be able to sustain that 5 years. That's why it's the Pisces, right? Some people are so great at sustaining things, despite the fact that they don't have any money, they will still sustain. Now, see, sustenance depends on your mind. If your mind says, look, you cannot sustain, you will not sustain. That's why we do use everything for moon, right? Ugra, this also can be Ugra. Okay, this also can be rebel. This also can be non-diplomatic. This also has no filters. But the only advantage here is it's the Jupiterian sign, and it is where the Venus exalts. It is where the Mercury debilitates. No other planet has any special position in the Pisces. So that makes it not as ugra as the Saturnine Navamsha of the Aquarius is, because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. It's also ruled by Rahu. Both are Rakshasa planets, right? So the kind of language Aquarius uses, Pisces may not use, but he will still keep complaining. He will still keep saying something is not right. It shouldn't be like this. Cribbing on things. This is what Aquarius and Pisces will do. They'll keep cribbing on. Okay. I'm talking about the negative side of Pisces, but all the Pisces is excellent. You see, Dharma, Utkrushta, Shubha, Shobhana, Saumya, all these are very excellent words. So, Shubha is cow, desire, and light. Shobhana is a woman, cow, and fruits. So Pisces is the place where you get the fruits out of the thing. So whatever you have done in the past, you get the fruits. So if your past life sins and past years things are very good, if your yesterday's things are good, you get good fruits, right? Whatever you sow, that is what you reap. This is what Pisces is. Sow something and reap the same thing. That's the fruits. Saumya can't talk harshly, and he's physically weak, right? These are those things that I wanted to talk about. I think I overrun on the time, but I still will give you enough time to ask questions. I welcome any questions anybody has. Just give me 1 second. Yes, you may please go ahead with the questions if you have any. Was it too much to digest? I think this was jam-packed actually. It had so many things to talk about. But I thought, let me finish this off so that you have more understanding of why I'm actually very specific to these things. Otherwise, you will think one Navamsha will give you good, one Navamsha will give you bad. But it's not like that. Although by and large, people will say this is good and that is bad, but not necessarily. Okay. Be quick, please. No one has questions.
Sir, very good.
Yeah, Nitish, yeah, tell me.
Sure. Thanks, sir. So, will these significations, right, associated with these Navamshas have more prominence during the dashas? Like, for example, if we take
It will be
Saumya here,
dashas and it will also be the placements. Both it will show.
okay,
It will give you as generic results for the chart, for the native.
okay, mhm,
They can also show up in the dashas as well. It will
okay,
come from both the places.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir. And this is going back to something that you mentioned in one of the previous classes. So, for example, seventh lord or any of I know it's more, these are more prominent for Lagna, but if say the seventh lord or any of the other lords, right? If the seventh lord is, for example, placed in Saumya, would it indicate the spouse is more like, is the
Yeah,
person will
correct.
talk harshly?
Correct. But also the seventh cusp will play an important role there. If the seventh cusp falls in Ugra, then the Saumya is
Mm,
lost.
okay, okay,
Okay.
got it,
You have to use both of them.
got it. Okay.
And also the dispositor comes first. So if you use the dispositor and if you get to see that this can in no way be Saumya, then the Saumya will not work at all. The problem with the Saumya things is they are very suppressed. See, Saumya is what? It can be oppressed. It can get into oppression. It can get into suppression. Somebody can suppress it very easily. That's why that is Saumya, right? Saumya can be taken out very easily. Doesn't have the physical strength to stop something bad happening over. don't think Saumya is a very good thing. Okay, Saumya can be very bad also. Somebody, who is very weak, not able to do anything. There is a wife who's Saumya. What happens is, the good thing is, yes, she is very obedient and everything. But for everything that has to be done, she has to call her husband. She cannot take any independent decision.